music compilation.
And we're live.
We're live. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Beyond the Controller. I'm Gladys, and with me, as always, is Cryptic Panther.
Hey, everybody. Sorry about that. I can feel right after that. I was making sure the stream was coming up. Sorry, I was distracted. I apologize.
Oh my god.
All right. And Fatty.
What's up, everyone?
So, first off, obviously, you're going to notice a change here. For the first time ever, we are live streaming this event. We've got our faces on here. We'll be doing our regular news format. But from now on, you'll be able to see our ugly mugs while we're doing it. So, very proud and happy to announce that Beyond the Controller now will include beards and obscene hand gestures. So welcome everybody. We have the chat up on our screens as well, so we will be able to respond in real time to corrections, insults, and any other contributive information you guys may have for us. Moving right into it, first off here, the Game Awards, one of the big events of the year, has come and gone. We've talked about it, we've covered it, and we have made our predictions. Turns out all but one of those predictions was wrong. Unbelievably, we picked 7 categories that we predicted winners for, and all but one of them. Oh no, I picked one of the winners on the other one. Okay, so 5 of those categories we didn't have anybody pick the proper winner. Just real quick, the ones that we did get correct is best ongoing game. 3 out of 5 of us, Fatty, Panther, and Uber, all picked Fortnite. That was the winner. And then for best narrative, I predicted
Red Dead. You were right.
Red Dead, and I was right.
I was very surprised that they won that one. That was the award. I mean, I don't know. Just there was the storytelling to God of War. I mean, I still to this day I have not finished Red Dead 2. I'd have to go back and finish the campaign, but yeah, I was surprised that it won that, considering the narrative of Detroit, the narrative of God of War, and some of the other people that were nominated. I was surprised they won that one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was surprised at a lot of these, because we made our picks in one category, and then what we predicted was actually going to win. So we tried to be, even then, as objective as we could be, and even somewhat subjective with our predictions versus our picks.
Well, yeah, but you look at the best performance. Everybody picked Christopher Judge from God of War, and Red Dead 2 won. Yeah, like crazy. Like we were all wrong on so many of them. Even like best audio design, Red Dead got that as well. And I mean, I'll admit the game sounds amazing, but I don't know. Like none of us picked like Red Dead to win a couple. The best art direction was the Obra Dinn. I don't even know what the hell the game is. But yeah, I mean, I was blown away by some of the winners.
Yeah.
In the categories that we picked, and considering the only thing that we scored on was the best ongoing game, and 3 of us picking Fortnite.
Well, and none of us actually. No, I take it back. Uber's the only one that actually picked Fortnite. We predicted. 3 of us predicted that was what was going to win. So not even our pick for the best ongoing game, but what we thought would happen. So
right, yeah. I mean, we picked what we thought would win, and then so I was quite surprised that we all knew Uber was going to pick Fortnite. I mean, that's America's answer for everything wasn't Fortnite, even though it wasn't nominated in anything.
Yeah, that's true. So we did not do well in our picks or our predictions for that.
Not at all.
But still, a lot of great games got awarded, and God of War and Red Dead 2 were huge winners that night, so bravo to them. We figured a lot of awards would be coming their way. We just didn't pick the right ones, I guess.
No, we look like complete idiots in our picks.
Yeah. Well, what do we know? I mean, we only have a gaming podcast.
Yeah, we only play video games and read news and have a podcast. What the fuck do we know?
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing. No, not a damn thing, apparently.
Something we do know now, and some surprising news. Panther, tell us what's going on with Metro.
So, yeah, not too often you hear that a game is getting released early. So, Metro Exodus is coming out in February. And it's coming out on the 15th and not the 22nd. Well, it's kind of good in a way because there's like a slew of other games coming out February 22nd. So them pushing their release date, do you call it forward? By pushing it forward?
Bringing it forward.
Bringing it forward, yeah. So on the 15th now, since the game's gone gold and they've, I guess, been pushing to get the finished product out. So, yeah. So that's something to see is the fact that they are releasing early. Which is a smart move. Like I said, there's like Anthem and I don't know, there's like 4 or 5 titles coming out on the 22nd of February or in around that date. And we already know that the Sony exclusive crap. I lost the name, but I had it in my head, tipped my tongue. The biker zombie game.
Days Gone.
Days Gone got pushed back, I think, till March or something because of all the release date and all the content really on 22nd. So Metro being smart by getting their date moved up a little bit, and I think that'll help them. It's definitely not going to hurt them releasing before a slew of other games to get them on the market. As for the Metro series, I have never played a Metro game. I am interested in the Metro games. Definitely this one. The game looks amazing. So I may be trying to get my hands on and play through the other Metros. I know I have like 2033 was given away on Steam and I have it. But there's like called the Redux or the Redo or whatever, and it has the first 2 games combined and remastered. So I might look at trying to find that and play through that to get caught up on the series. But yeah, it's I'm excited for the game, and I'm happy the developer's able to get the game out early. Good stuff.
Well, it's as long as there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, that's going to be the thing. Is that if they release this early and
but I mean, it's gone gold already, and I mean, they have now until February 15th to make any patch, get anything ready for a patch for day one. So, what game doesn't release with a day one patch nowadays?
That's true.
So,
all right, Pat, have you ever played the Metro games? Panther and I both have not.
Yeah, I have. They're kind of like if Doom met Fallout. It's really post-apocalyptic, but it's your basic shooter. But the storytelling's really good in them. I like it a lot. I only played the first one and a little bit of the second one, so this newer release is really intriguing to me. Yeah.
Awesome.
It looks damn good from the little bit that we've seen at E3. Yeah. It looks damn good. So I'm in. Just try to get caught up on the story.
Fair enough. All right, so Fatty, talk to us about Street Fighter V and what's going on with that.
Yeah, so Street Fighter V is going to be... Actually, sorry, it is. This is an older article. As of December 11th, it is displaying ads within game. So Capcom is introducing sponsored content to Street Fighter V Arcade Edition this past December 11th to promote its purchasable bundles, costumes, and the Pro Tour. You're gonna see players will see see ads on costumes in certain stages and on pre-fight loading screens. So it's kind of, I think it's a little more invasive than some ads where it's on actual costumes you put on your fighters. So that's kind of weird. But you can turn it off, which is good. So Capcom allows you to turn off the ads, but they get you there too. If you turn off the ads, you'll lose extra fight money that you get in game, which goes towards other stuff like, I assume, costumes. I don't know. I haven't played Street Fighter V.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So, I mean, personally, I haven't played it. I don't know how invasive it is, but if you're putting ads on like costumes you put on characters and within the stages itself, that's kind of fucking annoying. At least in my mind, like that's a huge invasion of my, I don't even know the word, like being ingrained into the game.
Right, your immersiveness.
Yeah, my immersion is broken because of your ads. Fuck off, Capcom.
Yeah. So
well, I'm imagining it's like a NASCAR jacket, you know, like you got.
It's gonna be
probably.
Somebody's gonna be jumping in with a great big McDonald's logo on their fucking.
Yeah, exactly.
Tampax up one arm and.
Oh my god.
Yeah. NVIDIA GTX 2080 up the other arm.
Right.
Yeah.
This is absolutely ridiculous. This is. I don't know how this got approved because can you imagine? Like, we're joking right now, but like, this is the exact like literal thing that this is. I mean, come on, man.
Well, exactly what's going to happen. I mean, there's no. People are going to get to the point where they'll be like, "Well, I'm done," and they're going to lose all their player base. Because who wants to sit there and watch basically fight against other people wearing complete ads on themselves? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The marketing department behind this is completely out of fucking touch with the real world.
And it's that you're penalized if you want to they're not display these. Yeah, and that was going to be my follow-up question here to Fatty, but he already explained it in depth. So yeah, you get in-game credits, which again we're going to assume is to buy cosmetics. You get those for allowing yourself to be hoarded out to advertisers within the game. But if you just want a pure game experience, you will not progress as fast or have as many options to buy with whatever the currency can buy you in this. This is fucking ridiculous. And it's not even a thing about being like 2018, almost 2019. Like, this is our day and age that we live in. This is what's happening. No, this is not common for in-game ads to be there and to display it on your characters, which now, for the past, 10, 15 years or whatever, customization has played an increasingly important role in designing your character, whatever type of game that is, almost across the board, across the spectrum. Designing a character is something that people love to do. And just to have either iconic characters hoard out with McDonald's logos and Pepsi logos, like either that or the character that you made, I just, man, fuck this. Fuck this move.
Nothing makes
gesture number 1 to this title.
Nothing makes me more excited than playing Blanca sponsored by Pepsi. that makes me super hyped.
It's ridiculous. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's one of these fucking moves. It's so dumb. It's like fucking Blizzard announcing fucking mobile games. What the fuck? Is Bethesda doing this? Like, is Bethesda behind this somehow? Todd Howard, you behind this? Fucking Christ. I said, I don't know who fucking thought this up, but they should be drug out in the street and shot. Yeah. They should be covered in fucking ads and then shot too.
Covered in ads, yeah.
Fucking fun. So dumb. So dumb.
All right, moving on. This was released, this article was 7 days ago, but we're covering it here because there's some big implications here. Epic Games have released their own storefront, really, and this is very, very new. They're in the beginning stages of this, but obviously it's going to provide some competition to Steam, and one of the biggest implications of them having their own store, Epic, obviously, as we know, is the publishers of Fortnite. They can pretty much walk into the room and be big dick swinging right now. They hold all the money that the gaming store or gaming audience has to give at the moment. But anyways, Epic Games with their own store is now going to be pushing back as a timed release or scrapping a Steam release altogether for some of their games. And this is probably going to be something that's going to happen in the future. One of the concerns that we had with the Discord store is that it would do the same thing. It would pull games away from Steam, and with their mission statement of trying to make things more accessible, make it all in one platform, we really already kind of have that in Steam. Epic Games has taken a different route, though, with the reasoning behind having their own store, and it's actually a pretty good one. And I don't say that begrudgingly because I know we hate on Epic Games a lot. We make fun of Fortnite all the time, even with Uber here, but especially without him. But the reasoning Epic Games said is because they wanted to create a new standard, and this is quoting one of the developers of the game Rebel Galaxy Outlaw. This is developer Double Damage, and they've partnered with Epic for the release of Rebel Galaxy Outlaw, excuse me. It's going to be a timed exclusive on the Epic Store for 12 full months, full year, before it'll be available on other platforms. So Double Damage said that it hoped the new split in what the company will take, being Epic Games, for publishing on their store. It's going to be an 88-12 split instead of the 70-30 split that Valve has. So I've kind of stumbled on myself in this whole topic introduction here, but Valve currently takes a 30% cut of every sale that's made on their store. We talked last podcast a couple weeks ago about the tiered percentages that they'll be taking based on how many copies your games sells. So the bigger juggernauts that sell many millions of games actually pay less percentage-wise to Steam than a smaller indie title. And it's really hurting, or and can hurt the little guys, the smaller developers, the indie ones that can't sell 10 millions of any games. Epic Games established their store with a 88-12 split, which means they only take 12% of a sale as opposed to Valve's 30%. So Double Damage has said they hope this would be the new standard, the 88-12, and that they'll be offering exclusive content to Epic Games and their store to help create momentum. And hopefully that this is going to be a thing going forward that we see. Now, I don't necessarily stand in favor of splitting the gaming community or the amount of things that I have to download. I mean, Panther and you and I have mutually bitched about how many launchers we have nowadays.
We have.
It's just
like I think I got 5 or 6 of them installed right now.
Right.
And it's ridiculous. I mean, I got Steam, I got Origin, now I have Epic Games, now I have, Battle.net and Blizzard and like fucking Uplay and
Ubisoft and Epic now.
Yeah. So, and we're gonna stop here for a second. We got Uber in the chat.
We got Uber in the chat. He can make the chat, but not the podcast.
Yeah, he can make the chat. So he says sports games have had ads for years, adds to the authenticity of the game. Well, that's different. A sports game having ads, because it's designed to look like a production, it's designed to look like a real world event. Right. It's like you're really playing the game. Ads you can't get away from in an arena or whatever. So that makes sense. It looks legit.
It does fulfill that goal.
And even in a fighting game, if they were fighting in an arena and there was ads on the wall, or the mat had a sponsor in the center, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So if it was like that, I wouldn't have a problem with it. They had an ad on as they walk in or something, there's an ad displaying in the framework of the arena type deal, but not their fucking costumes and their gear covered in ads in a Street Fighter game. It's a UFC game, sure, because it's there in real life. Uber says I still never liked it much. Well, like I said, the ads in the games, to me, the sports games, it does
has a purpose there.
It does. Yeah. It's like real life. But I mean, Street Fighter's not the UFC games. So let me see here. Just because it's part of the sports doesn't mean gamers want to look at it. Well, that's true. But I mean,
it doesn't hurt anything in that way though. In these games, in Madden, in FIFA, in UFC. Advertisers are a part of the entire experience when we watch those, when we consume that form of entertainment. Whenever you watch sports, it's there. One of EA's slogans back in the day was, if it's in the game, it's in the game. This has been something that has been around in the form of an arcade game like Street Fighter or, say, Mortal Kombat, Tekken. We're talking about not only just universes that don't exist, people and characters that don't exist, but it's an arcade fictionalized version of a fighting game. It's not UFC. It's not anything like that. It's not a real world experience in the entirety that it's ever existed. It's not supposed to be real world. So there are no real world ads in those games for that reason.
Yeah. So and he agrees with us in the chat. He just said he agrees with. Yeah. And it's not as intrusive as putting it on your Street Fighter characters. So, like I said, if in a Street Fighter you walked into the arena and they had a logo or who cares? It's not on your character's clothing. It's not part of your fighter. It's in the world. Who cares? After a while, you wouldn't see them anyways. Same as playing a sports game. How often do you really notice most of the ads after you played it for a couple hours? You probably don't realize they're there.
Sure.
Same as watching on TV, man. I watch a hockey game. I don't fucking know what ads are on the damn billboards. I don't pay attention to them. I'm watching the game. So yeah, I mean, I look, the sports games that make sense, but yeah, as in the realm of Street Fighter, no.
Yep. So moving back here, just to keep us on track here, again with Epic Games, the Epic Store, one of the games in this article that was noted was called Satisfactory, and it's a first-person factory builder, and I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work. But
I've seen that game. I've seen that game at last year's E3 PC event. It was announced last year at E3.
The developer Coffee Stain Studios posted a video clarifying because it was actually it just disappeared from the Steam store. So they released a video clarifying and said that the Epic Store will be the only place that you'll be able to get that game. He promised to answer more questions in a future Q&A, but like I said, there will be a number of games that are just timed releases to where they'll be on the Epic Store first for a certain amount of time before they're available elsewhere, and there'll be games that are only available through the Epic Games Store. So I like what they're doing with the split and how they give more to the developers and they take less, rather. Let me put it that way. What I don't like is the idea of just another launcher that we're going to have to get, another store, another area to where, you know, if you play it on there, if we own a game that's on the Epic Store and a friend of mine owns it on the Steam Store, can we play it together? How's that going to work? I mean, I
doubt it's going to work.
I doubt it as well.
If the game's on both, you launch it in Steam, you're running on Steam servers. You launch it Epic Games, you're on Epic Games servers.
Well, I mean, it depends there. It depends on if the developer has their own dedicated servers, right?
That's true. Yeah, that's true, I guess, right. But, I mean, I'm all for the...
we need answered.
I'm all for the game developers getting more of the cut. I mean, that's not a problem. We bitched the fucking shit out of Steam, me and Baker, in the last podcast we did 2 weeks ago. That it was like a complete bullshit how they treating the small developers, not even indie. I mean, even if you're, you know, even your class is a AA developer and you're still selling 20 or 30 million copies, you're getting shafted. The guys selling 20, 30 million copies or more, they're just raking in extra money and they don't need it at that point. Yeah, exactly. They've made their money, they've made their profit back. Plus, you know, and I mean that's not fair. I mean, like I said, I like the fact they're doing the split, but yes, it's another launcher. So in other words, if someone already owns a game that's on Steam and it ends up on Epic Store, you got to buy them both. If you got friends playing on one, so you got friends listed on this one, friends on that one. It's just everything being spread all over the place. I mean, with the Discord store, I don't think any of us are even interested in what the Discord store has so far. I've never looked at anything on the store. I kind of forgot it was even there. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just another store. I mean, competition is good, but I mean, Steam has just been the place to go for so fucking long. I don't know. It's just, I'm kind of torn. I don't know what to say.
Well, there's good and bad to this. The good is going to be for developers because they're not really going to have the struggle of the friends list and all that stuff. The gamers are, I think, going to be where it's a little murky.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So obviously, this is going to be something that'll be around for a while. We're going to end up talking about it again, but right now, beyond the couple titles that I mentioned here, there's not too much that we're going to see an immediate effect. This will just be something that hopefully Steam responds to. I'd like to see them, honestly, because they can save face, they can save the developers leaving, they can save the time releases and all that, and still look like a good guy, even if it's just in response, if they, you know, made their split a little more favorable for the developers.
This may push Steam to look at their numbers and say, look, all right, we see that, you know, we don't compete, we're going to be fucked, and they don't want to lose that income for sure. So I mean, like I said, maybe this will change things, but
we'll see.
It's hard to say. Oh, we got good old Couch in the chat. He just says, keep up the good work, fellas. So we got a.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We're trying, dude. Appreciate the support.
Yep. All right, let's move on here. So, kind of a needle in the haystack has been found, apparently. Panther, what's going on?
So I don't know that I picked on Uber pretty hard about this. I called it corporate espionage. I don't know if it falls under that, but Sergey Glanyankin, I don't know how to pronounce the dude's name. Anyways, he's the creator of Steam Spy. And what Steam Spy is a program that basically data mines Steam. So this was kind of a big red flag to me. And I mean, I don't know if there's been follow to this. I don't know what people think of this. But he's the creator of Steam Spy. Has recently announced that he has been what he's been up to at Epic Games. So Sergey joined Epic Games a while ago and revealed this week that he has been working on Epic's freshly announced game store for years. So for years, it's not like they just decided like. So, as a director and publishing strategy for the Epic Game Store and the creator of the incredibly useful Steam Spy tool, I'm not pronouncing his last name. His first name is Sergey. Knows a lot about the game prices, sales, store placement, and everything else that affects a game's performance. So he recently spoke to Kotaku and said that he's applying what he learned in all those years of running Steam Spy and now using that knowledge to make Epic Game Store a competitor to Steam.
That sounds like espionage to me.
So it's not the fact that this guy was running Steam Spy. Epic said, hey, dude, we want to hire you. And he's like, okay, I'm working for a competition potentially, so I'm not going to, muddy the fucking waters. I'm done with Steam Spy. I'm going to go work at Epic Games and build the store they want. Now he comes out and says that he's using all that data he's mined for years to turn around, and it's the only reason they fucking hired him. Right?
Yep.
I mean, that's shitty, man. It's always a back and forth between me and Uber about Fortnite. It's a thing, and Epic Games, and even the store is what are they trying to do? They've made all this money from 12-year-olds buying $30 chicken skins, and that sounds wrong, chicken skin, wow. But cosmetics. So they made all their fucking millions of dollars off cosmetics, and they've turned around, and all of a sudden now out of the woodwork they got a store, and they're offering big discounts to developers. And fuck, today, I think it started today, they're giving away Subnautica on the store. I mean, it's not a brand new game, but it's been, yeah, I mean, I downloaded the damn thing. Screw it, it's a free game. But yeah, I mean, I don't understand why they're doing what they're doing. I mean, it's helping developers, and that's a positive, but this muddies the water big time. The guy was basically, he was pulling all data from Steam that he could that wasn't personal data apparently.
Yep.
And he's turned it around, and he's been doing the Steam Spy thing while working at Epic.
Well, and the internal workings and numbers of Steam would be invaluable information for a competitor.
I mean, the numbers you can find. I mean, you can find current users and sales like that. That's it. But to find out how the game performs, the sales numbers, because where it's placed on the store, that's information that's not known
that's
to
why
every
it's
user.
Invaluable, because it's going to be, he'll be able to see sales numbers. Okay, at this % discount, we achieved maximum profitability. Putting it here, how they recommend games, how they, when you first log into the Steam store, it has, recommendations, how they do your personally curated recommendations and everything.
Exactly.
The entire way that they advertise and that they merchandise and recommend games, how the store layout is going to affect the effectiveness of the Epic store. So knowing what worked and what hasn't worked, what's achieved the maximum profitability versus what didn't work. When you're launching a new store as a competitor to Steam, there's a ton of questions that you need to answer about how to handle those things. And this guy is going to have the information on what worked versus what didn't. So not only is it going to save them a bunch of experimentation, it's going to save them a lot of time, it's going to save them a lot of money. It's also going to maximize, well, potentially, not stated this fact, it's going to potentially maximize the profitability of this company because they can set it up in a way that kind of mimics the most effective versions of Steam that have been going on for the last few years. And that's going to be a big play in how this thing is designed.
And another thing in this article too, he says, not a single developer I talked to wanted forums and the toxicity they bring. Sure. So Sergey explained that, adding that this is the reason Epic Store won't have your typical social and community features. Instead, Epic Game Store will start with a ticketing system that allows customers to alert developers about specific problems they're having instead of the review bombing them. So they're protecting developers now. Yeah. So in other words, if a developer comes out and they're fucking over, no one will know. It's too late, and everyone's going to be buying the game, going, oh well, there's no review. People buy games based on reviews.
That's
so
true
I mean,
also.
I get that there's a toxic group of people that just fucking shit all over games because they just like to do it. I get that.
Now, are they saying that there's no reviews or no forum? Because those are two different things in Steam.
Yep.
Well, that's the way it says. It says we'll have a ticketing system that allows customers to alert about the specific problems they're having instead of review bombing them. on other game pages themselves. Players will have an easy way of tracking progress on patches and staying informed with the recent or upcoming changes. So it sounds like they're not going to have either one of them. So in other words, not having that, when you scroll down the bottom of Steam, you see people are shitting all over the game, you're not going to buy it. So Epic's protecting developers in that sense, but how do you protect the consumer in that sense?
Well, you said a lot of people buy games based on reviews, and that's absolutely true. I will never dispute that. But just to bring up an example, I brought up the Origin store, and there's nothing about reviews on there. There's no forums within the store itself to try to see anything.
I never looked for it or not.
There's no reviews or anything on there. I can try to bring up Uplay and GOG as well, even Battle.net or whatever. I mean, I'm pretty sure that there is no other platform that has reviews live in the way that Steam does.
Oh, maybe there's not. Maybe they're maybe they are different that way. But like I said, I don't know. Maybe the other pages. I mean, when you go to Origin, you usually go there because you have to go there to buy a game.
Right.
Like you're already
because I want to be there.
Right. Same as going to the other launchers and other stores is, okay, I can only buy this game on the store. I have to go to the store to buy it. So you're probably already researched the game when you're going. But if you're just perusing and seeing, oh, this game here, what's this game? So you go to the game page, it's like, oh, well, it's just the write up from the developer and that's it.
Right.
You can't scroll down and say, oh, everyone's playing this game says it's fucking ass. There's no player base if the servers crash, or this game's amazing, play it. Like, I mean, it's I don't know. I'm torn on that part as well. I'm torn on a lot of things about this. Everyone's out there praising up Epic Games for what they're doing, and I'm sitting back going, man, I don't know. It's like the drug dealer giving you that little free taste. Oh, come over here.
I just wanted to make sure that we weren't establishing a precedence by saying Epic Games wouldn't have reviews. I pulled up GOG as well, which we just played Shadow Warrior 2 on,
right.
And there's nothing about reviews on there either. So as far as I can tell, there is no other launcher currently available that has reviews in the way that the Steam store does have, or the game pages themselves at least. But yeah, external reviews for all of those things. So it's not unprecedented, and in fact,
that's true.
Steam reviews are the only ones that really set that standard.
But I mean, I don't know, those reviews. I mean, some of them. I mean, that's gonna suck. They're not gonna have the comedy act on Epic Store that Steam currently has. But yeah, I mean, it's not a bad thing, but it's not also a great thing either.
I think what I'm getting from this is this guy, he obviously took an opportunity to make some money for himself, but I think what Epic is doing isn't necessarily wrong. Yeah, it's kind of shady that they're using this data, but if they're doing something that they're going to be doing in ways better than Steam for the developers, yeah, there's some questions about, consumer protection, but if they're going to be doing it better than Steam in different ways, then, I mean, all the power to them. Why are we protecting them? It's like when Nintendo does some shit, we are quick to jump on that. So why should we sit here and say, well, Steam has done it for so long, we kind of want to keep it that way. I'm willing to just jump ship and say, fuck it, let's go over to Epic Store if they're better.
Well, hey, like I said, I'm all for them giving a platform for indies to make, better profit. I mean, that's awesome. I mean, I applaud them for some, but then I'm also sitting back, and maybe just because I'm a little more skeptical of the whole way this thing just out of nowhere, and all of a sudden they're giving away free games and they're giving this big cut to indie developers, and then I don't know. I mean, like I said, maybe the point about not having reviews, it's a moot point now, because the fact that like I said, Baker just looked it up, and like most of the other ones don't have the same thing, the same system that Steam has. And I mean, things are bound to change, but I don't know, maybe, like I said, it's me. It's like, I like that section. Like, I go looking at games, especially whatever's just like, during the winter sale or that's coming up, you see a game. Is this game any good? You go to the reviews. So like, that's, to me, it's a missing feature in my mind. Maybe not so much protecting developers and from a shit game, or protecting developers if they have a shit game, and not not protecting the consumer, but it's a feature. To me, it's a positive feature as well.
I agree with that. The only thing I'm going to say more on this is that with other outside avenues for people to access reviews, and they can either shit talk games or not, but reviews are still alive and well in the gaming industry. There are sites dedicated just to it, so there's no lack of options when it comes to getting reviews. So I don't necessarily see this as a bad thing, and especially as I just looked up, there's no other platform that has those things. That sets Steam apart in that way, but it's not necessarily a good or bad or make or break. I don't know that it's going to be much of a factor. The main thing that I'm not really worried but curious about is what Epic Games does with all the Steam information, because like I said, it's potentially invaluable. A supreme head start on making the competition. It's kind of like, businesses starting in the same town with the same clientele potentially, and having what people bought, when they bought it, how they bought it, how much, what caused sales dips, what caused sales climbs. All that information is extraordinarily valuable when you're making a competing company. So we just have to see what they do with it. I don't know. All right. We're gonna beat this horse until it fucking dies.
Wait now, hold up. Uber comments, the Steam is a mall, whereas platforms and storefronts are more like Costco. I don't know.
Wouldn't that be reversed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should be the other way around.
Because like Steam is like the Costco. You can get everything
there. Yeah, you get everything at Steam, yeah. And the other ones are like the malls or individual storefronts. Yeah. Like I said, that's the thing. You go to those other stores just because you can't get the game on Steam. That's kind of the way it looks. So it's kind of the other way. I mean, yeah. But that's a good analogy. Just flip it. Right.
Yeah, you were right, just in the wrong way.
Yeah. You were wrong. You were just wrong. You were just wrong.
So moving on, again, we've got more launchers and another fucking exclusive. Speaking of going someplace because it's not somewhere else, Fatty, which game are we talking about?
We are talking about Rage 2. So it has come out that Rage 2 is going to be launched exclusively on Bethesda's own launcher on PC. No shit. I mean, I don't know why this is news. Who didn't see this coming? They have their own launcher that has all their games available to be bought on the store. Their latest game, Fallout 76, was exclusive to Bethesda Net launcher. So why wouldn't Rage 2 be? That doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, I don't know why this is news. But okay, so the pre-orders are live right now. But if you're looking for PC, they're only live on Bethesda Net. You can get...
I'm pretty sure I have this pre-ordered on PS4, and I'm likely going to cancel it because I'm playing mostly everything on PC now, and I may not even pick it up on pre-order now that it's on Bethesda launcher.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I don't like Bethesda. I'm kidding. No, but I mean, I just with all the other shit that I'm playing, I don't think when this game launches, I'm gonna have fucking time to dedicate to it because I still have a backlog. It's on my list. It's one of my fucking games list I want to play. I pre-ordered the E3 sale, like I fucking pre-order everything. But yeah, I think it's gonna be one that's gonna get canceled, and I'm gonna pick it up probably on the sale sometime and play it because I played the first one and I liked it. So, and I'm interested to play this. It looks like a fun game. Looks like there's gonna be some entertaining stuff. But yeah, it's yeah.
I mean, it sucks from the standpoint that we have another launcher that we have to download. I mean, there's probably 10 on my computer as it is already. But whoever thought in their right mind that Rage 2 is going to come out on PC and you can buy it in Steam, you're a fucking idiot. Store. Yeah, exactly. It's going to come to the Epic Store. No, it's not. It's going to go on Bethesda's launcher, you dumb fuck.
Like, and we got another commenter here. JY Movie. If it's one thing this group knows is beating it.
Yep.
Damn. Shows up for the first time in a long time and throws shade.
Yeah. Jesus.
But I don't know. The thing for me is just it's another example of, an exclusive game to an exclusive launcher. I'm going to assume I think there's multiplayer capability in this, but that would again raise the question of, can you play with people from different launchers such as Steam, if it were available there? But I guess that solves that question if it's only on the fucking Bethesda launcher.
Yeah, so it's not even going to be there.
Yeah, that's a non-issue there, but
yeah, I mean, really, that's the main issue. Is just it's another launcher we have to download. But I think this is what we're going to be seeing more on PC. You know, they're going to cut out that middleman. Why give royalties to Steam when you can just launch your own launcher and make all the profits?
Well, and there's not really a way that we're going to combat this either as gamers. You know, there's not going to be an uprising because at worst, this is really just annoying. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's not exactly a huge issue.
It's not a major inconvenience, and the launcher is free. I'm not having to pay anything extra. I just take up some space on my storage. But there's going to be a launcher for every major developer probably here in the near future.
And in the chat again, Mr. JY Movie Guy says, Netflix, CBS, Disney app for streaming. Why is that different than game launching?
It's not. It's just not. Annoying.
Yeah. I mean, every time you turn around, it's like with games, I mean, down in the States, it's a little different. We don't have that many. Well, we got a couple in Canada, but you guys have a lot more down in the States for streaming services. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just nice to have, like I said, it's always been, for the longest time, everything's been on Steam. And I get that these people are like, okay, if we have our own launcher, then we don't have to give Steam any money. Sure. As long as they're going to run their dedicated servers and they're not going to, be giving us fucking trash service, like, what the hell? But it's just, I don't know. It's breaking the mold. It's been working for so long. But this could be the beginning of the end of Steam.
Well, it even says in this article, Epic, EA, Activision, and Bethesda have all split from Steam. So those are 4 fairly big publishers. So if that's the way that's going to fall, then yeah, we could very well see Steam dropping down. I mean, it's been the big dog for years now, but maybe its days are numbered. Who knows? It's hard to say.
Well, and maybe for everything, with the exception of indie games. But again, if they don't have, that's what I was going to bring up, is the divide there with their cuts. So yeah, it'll look like, maybe here in the future we might see an exodus of games from Steam.
I've wondered why Steam has picked up some of the smaller developers. Last year they made a move and they picked up a few small developers. So I'm wondering if this is them trying to, wrangle in some
off.
So they have some studios and some games that are always going to be on Steam no matter what happens to the rest of their clientele. So I mean, they've made a boatload of money, and I mean they're going to have to make some big changes to keep up. And I mean that 30%, that 30% is a killer, especially for indies.
Yeah, but I think even that is going to be steep when a major publisher can just say, fuck it, we'll pay a guy $1 million to design a launcher for us, and then that's more money to us. If they don't have to voluntarily shell out 30% of their sales, why would they? So it makes sense. I agree. I think Steam is going to be in the decline in the next few years unless they make major changes, and possibly even despite them making major changes in the future, it might still happen that way.
Yeah, I mean, Valve might have to go back to developing games.
Damn.
What a fucking idea that is.
Yeah, but only part 1 and part 2. They don't do part 3s,
Oh, let's not start that. Chat's gonna light on fire.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on here. More Epic stuff here. Not in a good way either. So apparently, Epic has they're going to be instituting a no questions asked refund policy. Except it asks 8 questions. So this is a source from a tweet from a user. This was posted to Reddit here, and obviously we're going to be showing this here. The article, well, not article, but the post on Reddit is titled "Epic's No Questions Asked Refund Policy Requires Players to Verify Ownership of the Account," and that's in quotations here. So the automatic response from a tweet from some user says, "Thank you for contacting Epic Games Player Support. It's an automatic response, yada yada yada. We need to provide you to provide the following information: your public IP address, the date that you created your Epic Games account, an invoice ID for any Epic Games purchase you made on the account, and that says any. I want to point that out. For any purchase. So it doesn't have to be the specific game. That's weird to me. I don't know. That seems just fishy right there. Locations such as the city, state, or province where you made the purchases, the original display name for the account, the last 4 digits of the first payment card, Jesus, used on the account, the date of your last login, and names of any PlayStation, Switch, Twitch, or Xbox accounts connected to your Epic Games account, and the dates that they were connected. Who the fuck?
Holy shit.
Yeah. Who the hell has all this information? The automated message goes on further to say, we're serious about player security, so if we're unable to verify you own the account, we won't be able to make any changes. This was updated. Edit number 1, another Reddit user confirms that is how they respond. This is the automated message. Edit number 2, apparently the title of this post is not entirely correct, as an actual no questions asked system has not launched yet. But even still, if this is their current system right now, this is unfucking believable. Edit 3, according to some responses of people who actually dealt with the refund system, you don't need to provide every piece of information on the list, but at least some of it.
Okay, so I mean, at least if it's some of it, that's not too bad. But those date things, like the date when you created your account, I don't fucking remember that. I barely remember my own birthday.
No, and how would you even? What would you just search your email history for a response?
And hope you didn't. And hope you didn't delete it.
Yeah, exactly.
Uber out here. Yeah, he says, "Be fair though. How many games with in-game purchases offer refunds to begin with? But we're not. We don't know what this refund request was for.
Right.
So we don't know if this was a request for like a cosmetic item or what it was, or it was a game. We don't know." And he says, and he goes, "Y'all ever try to get a game refund from PlayStation? You better get ready to talk to John Wayne over in Bangladesh to have a chance." Hey, we're not saying everybody's perfect, but I mean the refund process on Steam, I used it once after a game of the week with the Hand Simulator.
Yeah.
And like within 12 hours, I had my $2.25 back. I just clicked the button, said I didn't like it, boom, I got my money back. I mean, I know that they're eventually going to have the no questions asked return policy, likely mimicking Steam, because guess what? Steam Spy guys got them all the information on Steam they'll ever need. But like the holy shit, like the number of the questions are ridiculous. Like, yeah, like locations, like it just all that account information. They should have that information. They own it, do they not?
They should.
Do they not have all your information on your account? Because they're managing your fucking account.
Even so, not only is this super, super extreme and specific and unrealistic to expect everyone to have all this information, but it could be so easy. Like, obviously, the only things that you would really, right now, I think, reasonably expect to do when trying to refund a game is either provide some type of proof of ownership, which is expected, do a 2-step verification, have a security question set up. That's been around since the fucking AOL days, a security question to verify that you own the account. I mean, beyond that, what else should they reasonably ask for? I mean, the date of your last login. A lot of us gamers play or at least log in every day, as far as like our launchers being up on our PC. My PC almost never goes off. It's usually on just to keep automatic updates flowing. But like to find your IP address, like for me, if this was the thing, I'd be making sure that this is a legitimate resource. Somebody asking for my IP address, the date I created an account, an invoice ID, the last 4 digits of I mean, these are like scamming questions, like, no, I wouldn't be answering this.
Like I said, they want all that information for free. But Uber says this is for skins bought in the store with V-Bucks. He says, I refunded a few things before they added this.
But like I said,
I don't have a problem with someone to verify the account, but like you said, like why is it not just a regular, log in, 2-factor authentication, you're into your account, you're logged in, it's yours. What the hell's the point of giving IP address and everything else? We got another commenter just jumped in, Chase Huntley. Hand Simulator was great. He loved it. Loved it, yeah. Way too funny not to watch you guys. We appreciate the support.
Yeah, thank you for agreeing with me, Chase. It was a great game.
Hey, if the game didn't fuck me in every round, I might have fucking actually kept it. The game hated me, and I
was drugged when we played that.
Yeah, I was drugged.
Wow. But anyways, let's.
All right, back on topic.
Go back to this. On topic here, because I don't want to stray too far every time we get a comment. We need to. Well, we'll keep it rolling. We'll say our hays and everything, but let's keep it rolling. So either way, this is just wildly, to me, feels intrusive to the point of, again, I would be checking to see that I was talking to an official resource. This is way too much information to expect from the average consumer, and it's more information than is needed. Now, with one of the edited responses here in the post, it says you don't need to provide every piece of information, but at least some of it. So that's good, but how much is some of it? Is it 3 out of these 8 things? Is it 2? Is it certain specific ones? Those are all going to make the difference here. But either way, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that they're trying to protect like the identity of different people's stuff, you know, to make sure nothing gets leaked or anything. That's great, but that's a lot of information to request. But sort of bouncing off what Uber said, this does remind me a lot of PlayStation support. I mean, at least the few times I've used it, it is fucking chaotic to try to get anything done with them. So it's just, I see the positives in it, asking this much information, but it's also like, what if I can't? What if I can't answer the last 4 digits of the first payment card I used on the account? Because
Right, the first.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, if I had my account for 8 years... and I've gotten a new credit card or 2 since then because they expire, how the fuck am I supposed to remember the first or the last 4 digits of that first card?
And what if you changed? Like, I mean, your card number usually stays the same on a credit card, but what if you were at Visa and you said, fuck Visa, I'm in, I want to go, and using, you know, MasterCard, Amex or some shit. And we got another comment here. JY says, to be fair, if someone wants to steal my identity, good fucking luck, Bangladesh, John Wayne. I've really screwed the poop so far on my own. And Dual Work jumped in. He's got his power back. He says, up, bitches.
That's good. What's up, Work?
What's up? Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot to ask. But I mean, there's a positive and negative to it all. It would be nice to know like how many of these you do have to answer.
Yeah, and which ones specifically, again, because if it's certain ones of those, then
they want your firstborn. That's what they want. They want your firstborn, and that's it.
Open your disk drive and provide a blood sample to the little pinprick that'll appear, and just verify it's you.
Jesus.
Yeah. So we've talked about video game movies quite a bit over the length of the entire time that we've been podcasting. Usually,
and we're still going to do a special regarding video game movies.
Yes,
we're going to very soon.
At some point. So we'll talk more, and this is, as usual, bad news, but maybe in a different way. Panther, one of the early topics that we were talking about the game itself, but go ahead and tell us about the film.
So Metro 2033 was the first Metro game that came out. So it's based off a book, and I don't know any information. Like I said, I know the story other than it's set in Russia after an apocalypse type event. So anyways, the movie, they were getting developed. Metro 2033 film has been canceled because the scripter wanted to Americanize it. They were going to
good on them.
They were going to take the fucking movie, the story of it, move from Moscow to Washington D.C.
Oh, fuck off.
So the work on the film that was announced in 2020, and the rights have reverted to Dmitry, and I'm not going to pronounce his last name, the author of the 2005 novel in which the movie was meant to be based. The reason they told the article on VG 24/7 is that the scripter Scott Fraser has intended to Americanize it by setting Jesus. I can't even read. The setting, she's going to move the setting from Moscow to Washington, and it wasn't working out. Like, Jesus Christ, man, how do you go and take a book and basically a video game movie and say it's based in Moscow, it's based on all these events that, you know, are based off this book, but we're going to take it and turn it into Washington D.C. That's
and it's already done for you. Like, the script is the book. Just do it.
Exactly. How is it? And I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's just the guy fucking this Fraser cat needs to go fucking kick in the nuts. Like you had the book. I mean, it's got like the game is you know. I mean, I'm not saying it's sold huge numbers, but there's a following for this game.
Sure.
There wouldn't be 3 iterations or 4 iterations of it.
Yeah.
So like it's ridiculous. I mean, we had a shot of possibly having a really cool movie based on a good book. Now it's a video game, and we got fucked.
Yep.
So I'm hoping that someone else will step up, and since there's already been work done on this, or this guy will get his act together and come back and say, all right, we're not going to take it to Washington.
Well,
we're going to leave it in Moscow. And
he'll probably be gone, though. I don't anticipate.
I
doubt
never
hear about that.
No, but I mean,
but script rewrites are extremely common. So,
true.
I don't know. It's just I don't think this is coming back. I think it's dead in the water because it said it was canceled. Not that the screenwriter or the scripter has been canned, and that production would continue until, or I mean, when they find one. It said it has been canceled entirely.
Dork wants to know why you're not facing your camera.
Because I'm a fucking rebel.
JY says, firstborn, I'm in. Kids are expensive.
Yeah. Also, do you see this fucking beautiful curl that I have right here?
Oh, and JY's poking fun at me. So I guess they stopped. They didn't. I've been out of school, man, probably longer than most people alive. So there you go.
Yeah.
There's people here, anyways.
Jesus
but
Christ.
yeah, I'm old. I didn't have a nap today, and I'm old. And,
I didn't have a nap today.
That's why I can't read.
Yeah. All right. So, fuck the scripter. Metro 23. Obscene gesture. I think that's my third one.
That's third or fourth. Third for sure. Yeah.
I might have to add like a counter. How many times Baker gives a finger?
Oh yeah. Well,
yeah. So like I'm disappointed because like I mean, even though like I said I never played the games, I never read the book. I was, I read this. I'm like, damn, now I'm disappointed. I didn't know I even wanted this. Now I want it. I'm gonna find this Scott Fraser guy and give him a good kick in the nuts.
Yeah, fuck you, Scott Fraser.
Yeah.
At the end of the podcast, Scott Fraser, go fuck yourself. Speaking of people going to fuck themselves, we're gonna hit Nintendo again. Fatty, why are we gonna hit Nintendo?
Because they're about to create some false scarcity, as they always do. The NES and SNES classics are about to get really hard to find once again. Basically, Nintendo of America President Reggie Fils-Aimé, I've never been able to pronounce his last name. He announced in an interview this week that the classic systems will be around for the holidays, but once they sell out, they're fucking gone. They're never coming back. So this is going to put everyone into a tizzy for this Christmas season as they try to spend their hard-earned money on shit you can emulate on a computer. Do I care? I don't know. Not really. I'm tired of these classic systems. I have a classic SNES and I barely play it. But yeah, so they're going to be available up through Christmas, and then once your local Walmart sells out of them, they're gone. Just try to get one if you care. I don't know.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like knowing that this is going to be the standard for them releasing these systems. It's really just going to provide incentive to people to buy as many as they can at that price, and then just sell them later for profit.
Pick a few up cheap, and then hopefully they can flip them later on.
Oh yeah,
and they'll be able to though, because there's a demand for it. Because there's a fucking uproar every time they release one, and then nobody can find them.
But the fucking Nintendo's done this like all the time. This is what.
Yes.
This is their business model.
Nintendo did this with these two exact systems already, and they're gonna do it again.
And then when they launch the N64 fucking retro console, they'll do the same thing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, these will be available again because the N64. What about an SNES? Oh, we have those too. Here they are, Magic Pad. Walmart's got them.
Just every holiday season, it's gonna be more and more.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
So JY says Siskel and Ebert had thumbs up, BTC as middle fingers.
But I mean, Nintendo's doing this because they know it prints money. Like,
yeah.
And I find it really hard to say fuck you Nintendo to this, because if I were the same company, I would do the same thing. If I knew people were dumb enough to buy this over and over and over and over again, I mean, I would. I would release these every holiday season. I'd just be like, it prints money, bitch. You know, like, So whatever, Nintendo.
We got a commenter in the chat that me and you know, Fatty, quite well. Fatty's Queen has commented, 100% gonna buy the N64 Classic. I don't give a.
Yep. To address something else, work. You said you can't see the other viewers' comments. That's because you're on Twitch and they're on YouTube.
Yeah.
We're looking at all the comments simultaneously through our Restream page, so we can see comments from either platform as they show up. But you, as a viewer, just being on Twitch, can't see the YouTube comments.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Yeah.
Uber brought up a good point. These classic systems, they are kind of bad for gamers and for gaming in a whole. I mean, this is kind of making these larger gaming companies a little bit lazy, at least in my eyes, because they know like they don't have to release AAA titles anymore. All they have to do is release some gimmicky bullshit that people are getting some sense of nostalgia from, and we're gonna eat this up. So, I mean, they don't have to work hard anymore. They just have to release a plastic box that has a small emulator on the inside.
I mean, I don't know what games will be on the N64 one. I mean, like that. That's the thing. I mean, these are nostalgic stuff to me because I grew up playing these consoles. Yes. But we have the SNES upstairs. I think I plugged the controller into it once. My wife bought it. And she already plays it. She's a Mario fan. I mean, like I said before, I was stoked for the Switch until I found out what it was. You know, I was disappointed that they weren't making a competitor to what, you know, Xbox and Sony are, an actual full-blooded in-your-house console. You know, like 1080p, 60 frame games across the board. You know, I was disappointed, and I wasn't shelling the fucking money they want for that console. And I mean, the same thing for these. It's like, Jesus, man. Like, I don't fucking care. I too many new games I can't play. I don't have time to play old games again.
Yeah, and I think it absolutely, to reiterate what Fatty said, does make game. Well, not man. Let me start. I agree that it makes them lazy, but it's not game developers necessarily. I think it's Nintendo specifically. I don't think this is a general thing. And it's the whole retro console thing that we've been talking about over and over again, to where they just need to listen to us. It needs to have classic games on a digital library that we can buy or rent, and they should only be a couple bucks each. Give us a platform capable of handling the online interactions of buying from a store, either downloading, like give it some memory, and that's really it. That's all it needs, because these games don't take anything to run. You don't have to have $100 graphics processor in there. You know what I mean? They're just bullshit. Like, phones now can do like pretty much what a PS3 could. So you don't need super expensive advanced hardware in this. All you need is a box with, you know, basically a graphics processor from like an old fucking Nokia, and just give it some online capability and some storage so we can download these games, because they're only going to be like 4 megabytes anyways.
Exactly.
Just let me buy those old games, as I will. Don't come pre-packed with something, or if you want to come pre-packed, that's fine, but give me a store to add to it.
Exactly. I mean, if the SNES Classic, like I said, if that had an Ethernet cable and it allowed me to attach to a store, or maybe even if it needed like a subscription service, I would pay Nintendo the $7.99 a month or whatever they want to charge to have access to all those old games, because I like playing them. They're cool. But the fact that it's preloaded with just stuff that you can only play so much and then get bored of, and you can't add anything else to it unless you're going to hack it. It's just bullshit. The only saving grace in this is that the PlayStation version of this failed. And the reason they didn't fail, or the reason they failed, is because they didn't listen to us, just like Baker said. I was psyched for that one because I love old PS1 games, but they just did it poorly. They tried to cash out just like Nintendo's doing, and they failed. So hopefully they'll see this, and the rest of the companies will see this and say, you know, maybe we should start listening to what they're saying. Maybe this will be more successful if we actually put some of this stuff in here. It's not going to cost them a whole bunch of money, so why not?
Yeah. You know, the chat's kind of got a little out of hand here. So, Uber says, as much as he likes Nintendo products, I don't like that. It's bad for gamers. You went over that. And then Daddy's Queen is, I'm waiting for the GameCube classic. If Super Mario Sunshine isn't on it, I have the address to Nintendo Canada. I will burn the fucking building down.
We own a GameCube and Mario Sunshine. What the fuck?
Yeah. So yeah. So then Jay White says, to be fair, Nintendo has sucked for AAA consoles for years. Classic left. Don't work makes a comment. Just get a RetroPie.
It's not fair though because it's their choice.
Right.
There's an important distinction there.
Right.
They haven't chose to compete on a AAA level. Move on.
Yeah, and then doing works like, just get a RetroPie. You never have to worry about it again. That's true. I mean, if you want to use the RetroPie and you download, but Nintendo shut down all the ROM sites. Remember, we had that conversation a couple weeks ago.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of other ones out there. I mean, they shut down the big ones. Yeah. I mean, like it's like I said, the nostalgia is cool, but it wears off fast. It's like the whole Onage. Can you really go back? Like, try to watch some old movies. Well, some old cartoons fucking do not. The old Transformer stuff I grew up on, that stuff's just fucking straight ass now. Like, it's horrible. You can't watch that stuff. It's so bad. But like I said, games are cool for a while. Those classic things are they're fun for a while. But I mean, after playing the games that we play now, how do you go back?
Right. Well, you can't go back, at least for me and a lot of other people, but you can't go back like all the way. In the sense that you can't, like, for me, it would be a total mindfuck and I would hate doing it. But if, like, I didn't have an advanced console now or a PC, and if it was just a Nintendo, retro console in my house, like, I'd get sick of playing it, like, I need more options than that. But the thing is, like, it's proven that people will buy this stuff, right? There's a precedence for demand for the retro console and for the retro games. But when they curate a short list of stuff because it was popular, or some things even, that they put on the list was with head scratchers. But even so, it's still like, if you follow a proven market statistic of continued support with these things, if you add a store, and even if they're 50 cents a piece, you've already made your profit for the lifetime expectations of those games. Anything you make now is just extra money. And 50 cents or $2, $5, whatever you want to charge for them now, is just even more money in the bank. It's pure profit because there's no development cost for this anymore. That's it. Yeah. All you got to do is pull it out of the library. Just put it off the shelf and put it in a digital library. And then it's there, and you make even more money off of something that requires no more work.
Like
what are you waiting for?
A subscription service, or like a rental service, or the ability to purchase them for $3 or $4 a piece. They would probably make more fucking money. Yeah. It's the guarantee they make more money. I don't know why they haven't listened to us. These guys are all fucking retarded.
Well, and they would make more money for some of these older titles if they put them as being available. They'd make more on some of those older titles, I guarantee it, than some of the current releases that they have.
Like I mean, Patty Queen says, I think the whole thing of being able to rent a game, even if it is digital, would bring me back to being a child again. Yeah, I remember renting games back when I remember renting a console. I rented an N64 back in the day because I didn't have money to buy one. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, the whole rental thing, if it's cheap enough, or if it's like a subscription-based rental system or something, there's definitely potential to make more money. And it gives everyone a choice. Instead of buying a console, like for $100 fucking dollars or whatever they're worth, and having locked to these 30 titles, well, I buy a $60 console with network ability, and then I have access to the whole fucking library.
And you'd end up spending, more 50, money, even $100 total.
Exactly. There's potential to make a lot more money, and it gives the consumers a better choice and options. It's ridiculous.
Well, and it keeps them there.
Exactly. The PlayStation one failed because it's fucking overpriced. It's like $140 in Canada or some shit. It's like, holy crap. And like I said, I have no nostalgia lock on it at all because I didn't own a PlayStation 1, so none of those games really even trigger an ounce of nostalgia in me. So I'm not even
able to rent would get you to buy some.
It's a potential, but definitely there's a potential there. If there's ability for me to buy a cheap little console to access the network to their store, there's definitely a shot there to draw in more customers.
Yeah.
Uber says, can we take a second to admire the facial? There we go. Beard break.
Beard break.
Beard break. But yeah, I mean, like people are making comments here about you know, the thing like, you know, Dormark says real talk. I paid $20 each for several games if they took the time to update them to currentish graphics. Not even. I mean, if to remaster takes a lot of time and effort to remaster some of those old titles. But I mean, like I said, even if it was a cheap subscription service or a cheap rental service, the potential there. Plus, that opens the library up instead of being pigeonholed into 30 games or 25 games or whatever. There, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, and the thing too is that if you got people like Work, who says that he would pay $20 for some of these older games if they were updated to current graphics, remastered, whatever. You know, I don't expect that much even, and I don't necessarily even want it, because even remastered, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah,
these games didn't look good and they're so old, so you'd have to do a complete overhaul like they're attempting to do with Final Fantasy VII. It's got to be from the ground up, just recreating the old game, and I don't want that, because that's going to end up taking development costs. It's going to take more time, and it's not going to be worth it, because, you know, doing a current gen, you know, Super Mario Brothers, what is that going to do? You know, it's going to be a better looking guy jumping through a tunnel. Like, no, man. I mean, that's not going to be worth it.
Like some games would definitely be kind of great too. Like some of the old 8-bit bumped up, you know, some of those would look a little better, little crisper graphics maybe. But because I mean, people are playing these on big fucking TVs.
Yeah.
Like I used to, like, we have a 49-inch TV that the fucking SES class, so it pigeonholes the screen, it cuts off the sides. It's like there's no widescreen games. There's no such thing as widescreen games back in the day. And Uber says that I'm so old I used to rent muskets. Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh man.
That's
not true. That's not true. He was a strapping young lad by the time muskets came out.
Exactly. I was able to farm the fields, and I could have whenever they launched the musket in 17, whatever it was. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah. But either way, just another misstep, a calculated misstep. It's intentionally not making as much money as you can by this business for no reason, I guess.
And this whole threatening of, they're not going to be available. They pull that like every year. Yes. It's ridiculous.
Not available for that holiday season. Once they're gone, they're gone. Just to clarify, though, they of course will be back at the next holiday season.
Exactly.
But it's the artificial demand, and it's weird too, because even if they want to do that, if they want to limit supply and they want to maximize profitability, because I work in retail and there's some products that I don't carry year round, and I've asked the higher ups before, why don't we have this all the time? Because this would sell. I have people all year asking me for certain items, and I have to tell them time and time again that it's only available for winter season, fall season, whatever. It's just a time thing. I only get a certain amount, and once they're gone, they're gone. And the response every time that I get when I ask about these products to the higher ups in my company is that they've done studies, and that if they have it available year-round, it becomes a regular item. It's not special to people anymore. And there's none of that walking by and say, oh, this is back, let's get that.
Exactly.
I can understand that. But if that's the case, then why doesn't Nintendo, and fuck me for saying this, so finger at myself, why don't they raise the prices to try to make more money that way? Then,
Shit, don't give them that fucking idea.
I know, but,
what are you doing?
But hear me out though, from a business perspective. If you want to limit supply and you know you're going to sell out of it, and if your goal is to make more money, but you know it's going to sell, raise the price up a little bit if that's going to be the thing. But just try to do something to set, like, again, if your goal is to maximize profits, you either make more units than what you think is going to sell so you can have growth in your business, or you mark up the price so you can sell more per console. Then work. I see you in the comments, you son of a bitch.
Sorry, I couldn't. I tried.
I think I said finger to myself, not fingering myself.
I don't know. I think it's first fucking live stream. We're gonna put out a show.
This is for you, buddy.
Oh shit.
But anyways, if you're not gonna try to sell more units than you did last time, if you're not gonna raise the production amounts to allow for growth to make more money that way, If you're not going to raise prices on the individual consoles to make more money per console without raising the amount of consoles you're making, you're not going to do that, and you're not going to provide a market to further increase profitability by selling more things or renting more things or giving them access to stick around and play on these consoles longer. If there's no retainability for the consumer that buys this product, then what are you doing to further this brand? What are you doing to take strides as a business to try to make more money with this product? You're not. It's going to stagnate, you know? It's going to be us every year. We roll our eyes and we call foul and bullshit, and I give them the finger. And it's, you didn't make enough, and it's not a good enough product anyway, so I don't want it. They're losing out on so much potential business.
Yeah.
Intentionally. I don't understand it.
I think they shot themselves in the foot with the first one when they realized after the launch that they only put so many games on it. You can't add games to it. It's basically it's here's your games and that's all you get. And then they're like, well, everyone loved it so much, we're just going to keep doing the same thing. We're not going to improve it because people don't realize that there's a better option available or a potential better option for them to create and to give to the people. They just know that people are just throwing money at the fucking screens to buy these the second they're launched, and they're not going to change because people just honestly just are. Some people are just fucking clueless.
Yeah, well, I mean, these aren't consoles for gamers; they're consoles for people who live for nostalgia.
Exactly.
So.
Yep. All right. Well, fuck it. I think I got a beard here in my mouth from that beard check.
Beard break.
Beard break. We are at the hour and 15 mark. You guys want to cover this last one or call it? What do you think?
Might as well just cover it.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Fuck it. The chat is live. Fuck it. We'll do it live. All right. Moving to the last topic of the night here. The Game Workers Unite UK becomes the country's first games industry union. Kind of big news for us. Gaming industry is one of the newer industries, you know, out there in the world as far as what can be unionized and as far as an industry in itself. The Independent Workers Union of Great Britain has become the first trade union to represent members of the games industry. It's a pro-union activist group, and they'll hold their first meeting this weekend. Yeah, this was posted a day ago. And hey, we don't have to say as of this recording, because it's live.
There we go.
This was posted a day ago. The Games Workers Unite UK, that's just too long of a name, describes itself as a, quote, worker-led democratic organization that represents and advocates for UK game workers, end quote. The union's goals include ending excessive and unpaid overtime. That shouldn't be happening. Improving diversity and inclusion. Sure, as long as they're not shoving it down my throat. Supporting harassed workers and ensuring a steady living wage for everyone. Yeah, sounds great. Good for you guys. Thumbs up. So it's now a legal trade union though, and that's the big thing, is that it's official, as official can get. Let me see what else. The discussion of crunch during the development of Red Dead Redemption 2 and the reported bro culture at Riot. We talked about the crunch thing with Red Dead. I don't think we ever got to the Riot topic.
I think we mentioned it. I don't know if we've done a full coverage on it, but I think we mentioned some of it or something with Riot Games at one point. But yeah, it's there was, you know, the whole bro culture thing at Riot Games was a big story. About 6 months ago, roughly.
Oh, it's still a big story. Their COO just got shit-canned.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. I did remember seeing
one of the topics that we didn't get to tonight. Yeah, it's further down. So yeah, they've unionized over in the UK, and sure, yeah.
Unless unions are a lot different from what they are in North, I don't see this being 100% of a positive thing. No, unions, like, I don't know, but look at the auto workers union, man. The guys are making, they make just fucking $65 million a fucking week just to stand there and press a button. Like, you can't get these guys out of these jobs. They show up and don't do their fucking job. The union protects them.
Or like
unions are good, unions are bad. Unions are good and bad.
Canada Post for us Canadians.
And now whenever you look at it, like, I mean, I'm not saying I don't know how the unions work. innings out of every union ever in the world. But I just see that people will show up and like they know they can't get fired because the union will protect them. There's people with that mentality. Then there's going to be. You think game development takes a long time now? Now that they're going to be now that there's the unions involved, people are like, well, I'm working 40 hours and going home, and like I'm all for proper, if you're working 60 hours, you're paid for 60 hours. You work 100 hours, you're paid for 100 hours. No one should be forced to work more than they want to, and they should be paid for what they work. I 100% believe that. It's not unions you need better fucking labor laws. And that's my argument is these, like I said, I've heard, you hear so many bad things about unions, and everyone's like, oh, we want a union for this, we want a union for that. Like, if everybody's in the union, then the union's no fucking good. Like,
I have to disagree with you.
I don't know.
I think the union is the proxy on how you get those laws. Without union.
Yeah, but union doesn't do law. Union is in. You got to pay union dues. Union doesn't fight. The union doesn't fight legislation.
But the union can spark the discussion that provides legislation.
You hope.
That is so. And I'm saying, hypothetically and objectively, like the point of a union is to advocate for those workers. Because if you have one factory worker that was like, hey, dude, like this 110-degree, indoor factory that we have, it's not good for me. Like, I'm gonna die in here. And if they're just like, okay, well, we'll replace you. A union provided, air conditioning for workers. Right. Like, there is a good thing. The goal, as work points out here, is to protect the worker and to organize the workforce. I mean, I don't think unions are a bad thing. They can be, but
they can. Like, that's what I'm saying. Is everybody, the second they talked about this Red Dead thing and the 100-hour crunch, it wasn't the fucking staff that was doing it. It was the fucking writers. Right. Like, it was like the fucking internet, and I said this again, the internet fucking lost their minds. And the second that this thing hit, everybody was like fucking unions. Every second post on fucking Reddit for a week and a half was, game companies need unions. Game companies need unions. Well, you know what'll happen is they'll force unions on these game companies, and they'll fucking outsource. They'll move out of the United States. They'll move out of Canada. They'll move out of the UK, and they'll go places where they don't have to fucking deal with unions. And then we're gonna get fucking, like, the gaming industry will fucking tank. That's what I'm scared of. I'm not saying it is. No.
I think there's zero chance of that happening. But work points out here as well, UPS wouldn't exist as we know it without unions. And to further it, with these type of, the thing is, with unions, again, they're able to organize more than one person can. They're able to organize in a way that will impact. So if, I mean, I'm trying to think.
I don't know. Like I said, there's potential great to this, but I guess I'm not. Is this really what's needed? I mean, labor laws in general need to be fucking fixed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and one that we can talk about as a great example that's right now under the microscope is Amazon. Exactly. Amazon labor is completely fuck ass backwards. It's terrible from everything that we hear. They can't even take piss breaks. So right now, Amazon, of course, is extreme anti-union because a union would basically act as a safety umbrella and say that, listen, we're just going to provide a mass strike, and you're going to have zero workers, and you're going to lose billions of dollars every single day unless you provide these people with, reasonable hours, reasonable pay for what they're expected to do, reasonable workloads, and actual, like, fucking, breaks, and treat them like humans.
Exactly. And I agree.
And a union would provide that. So that's the goal. That's what it's supposed to do.
That's the goal. But then it turns into what we're dealing with in Canada right now, the fucking postal union. They every time their contract is up, it's a whole fucking big thing. They start doing rolling strikes here and there. It's like, fuck, like, you guys get paid more than the average fucking worker. You have a government fucking job. You have benefits, and yet every time you turn around, you don't like to negotiate. You like to threaten strike on the fucking postal service to make more money. It's like it's like holding a gun to your walking to your boss's office, pointing a gun at him, saying, "If you don't give me a raise, I'm going to shoot you." That's what a union is. And when it comes to certain aspects, right? I mean, it's both sides of the coin.
Sure. Yeah. It absolutely can.
Don't want the bosses pointing the gun at the workers saying, if you don't show up for your job, or if you don't work a hours this month, I'm gonna shoot you. I don't want that side either. There needs to be a fucking middle ground, and there's never gonna be one.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of where the difference is right here with us is like up here in Canada, a lot of the unions we see, they fucking suck. Unions cause nothing but problems up here, whereas maybe in the States, unions are a little more flushed out, you know, they're thought out. But I mean, up here, it's every other day you're hearing about a different union going on strike for some bullshit just because they want more money. For real simple shit. I mean, I used to live in Nova Scotia, and the biggest thing last year was the teachers union, and they were going on strike because of some small changes to their contracts. And it wasn't anything monumental that would be changing their job extremely, but they didn't want to have to do that small extra step in their day. And they pretty much shut down schools for almost a month because of that shit. So I don't know if maybe things are different in different parts of the world. And exactly like this, we don't know how unions are run in the UK. But in Canada, I mean, our experience with unions up here is pretty fucking grim.
Well, and like the auto working union in the United States, like those guys there, I mean, I don't know about strikes and stuff, but they just, every year, they just get rolled up in huge wage increases all the time. And look what happened to the auto industry. It fucking tanked because the workers are getting paid so much fucking money. They got to charge so much money for cars. No one's buying cars because they're fucking, who's wants to pay $40 million for a fucking shitty car? And like Uber made a comment, he says, I don't know, I worked for a union job for 8 years and I am not a big fan. Union workers are some of the laziest pieces of shit I've ever met. Like there's like I said, there's both sides of the coin. And I mean, if a union can come in and they can get proper stuff set up for these workers so that they come into work, they work the hours they want to work, and they get paid for what they work. And like I'm all for supporting these people. If we don't have game developers, we don't have games.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the whole thing. Like I said, it was this whole thing with Rockstar and this crunch of 100 hours. People took it as everybody in the office was forced to work 100 hours.
Yeah, I don't know.
When they were, like, I don't know.
With this UK union, I think it is a good step for gaming.
Hopefully in the right direction.
Hopefully it stays a good step. That's how I would say. You know, it's definitely a good thing, but let's hope that they don't turn it into a much worse thing.
Maybe, like I said, their unions in the UK maybe are completely different. That's going to be the good thing. I don't know.
And at this point, the three of us and everybody commenting here, I'm sure that we can all agree that you're going to hear good stories about unions and you're going to hear bad stories about them.
Oh, yeah.
You may have had bad experiences, but I can guarantee you that some good experiences are only possible today because of unions.
Yeah.
We have basic human working conditions, largely due in part for workers' unions. So there has been good that's been done. You just never know how it's going to work out until it does. So as of right now, I'm going to applaud and say that I see why there's a union in place for this right now. I'm happy to see that. I'll be, watching where it goes, and we'll, if I have to flick it off, fucking, I will, dude.
Well, it's just like what Uber just said. The film industry is unionized, and I mean that's worked out great for them. So let's hope the same happens for gaming.
Hopefully. Like I said, I'm just looking at the I just think every country just needs to have proper fucking labor laws in place to protect both the workers and the owners. I mean, it's how fucking hard is it? It's not rocket science. I'm not saying build a goddamn rocket and fly to Mars in a fucking week. I'm telling you to treat someone like a fucking human being, for fuck's sakes.
Unfortunately, that's not it's not reasonable in some places or in some areas. I don't know why, but fuck them. All right, so that was the last topic that we had. We are now out of topics for the time that we're available. This is going to be it. So I don't have to do like a, hey, we're going to post the topics. It's, we just covered all of it live for you. You guys were able to participate, which is fucking awesome. Thank you to everybody that joined in. Thanks for your words and doing work. I didn't say I was fingering myself. I just wanted
we're gonna clarify. We're gonna clip that. We're gonna fucking Twitch clip that.
Pull the video.
We're Twitch clipping that for sure.
Rolling it back. Make sure everyone who watched, or even if you watch this at a later date, let us know if you like this new format. Right? This is just a test that we want to see if it works. So all feedback's
now,
welcome.
on our end, I think that it went swell. I think we did good.
we done pretty good.
Yeah.
Considering the setup time was rather rapid.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
oh, no.
yeah, I mean we're talking a 2-week time window for the podcast as well. That's been thrown around.
That's right. Yeah.
We're gonna try to do these. I guess Saturday night probably is gonna be the most common night for this. I'd like to hopefully have a set schedule, and that way everyone knows when to tune in. But we'll see. We're still fleshing some of that out. But I think this went really well. I want to thank Fatty for putting up the UI and doing the video production.
Yes.
And putting the articles in and stuff. It looks good. And yeah, I mean, it's you know, like Fatty made the comment, like, you know, this is the way everything's gone live stream. So, and I agree with them. So
yeah,
it's I enjoy this. This is definitely cool having the people interact with us as you know, in real time. And yeah, so tell us what you think. Share this shit on your social media, pass it around, get other people's opinions on it.
Yeah, let's get this blown up. Blowing up
for the views.
6 seasons in a movie.
And then a reboot. No. Yeah, so that'll be it for us tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining. Fatty, you're gonna have to kill the stream for me because I don't have the access to that. But, thank you guys. Really appreciate it. Anything further to add? You've got our Twitter handles. You can tweet at us and yell at us there. Beyond that, the videos will be archived on Twitch and YouTube. So if you watch them later, it's still okay to comment. Let us know, as Panther already said. So I guess that's it. Thank you. Signing off, and we'll see you guys next time.
Later.
See ya.